This year, I said yes to something new. I agreed to serve as a mentor for a teenager from our church who asked me during the month of January to spend time, intentional time with her during what we call our Elevate program here at Calvary on Wednesday nights. And truly, it was the highlight of my January. My son is also a ninth grader in this same program, and he has told us again and again that Mentor Month is really his favorite time of the year. I think I always assumed that a group of teenagers would prefer to be with their peers in a larger group, but, and I'm sure that is the case for some kids, but I love that our church makes this one-on-one time a possibility for students. And I was really honored to be asked to serve in this way. And the last time we met, we were talking about opening your Bibles. How do you even begin to dive in, knowing that there's got to be some important stuff in there, but realizing pretty quickly that you might have an entire chapter devoted to someone's lineage with a lot of names that are really hard to pronounce. What do the stories of the Bible teach us today? I can remember, maybe you do too, getting my first Bible as a kid. And it had a place in the back with a checklist for each chapter in each book. And I remember making it through the book of Genesis pretty easily. But then by the time I got to Exodus, I completely flaked out. It was really confusing to my fourth grade mind. So my mentee and I, we were noodling on this. How do you find a way to stick with the Bible knowing you want to learn more about what it means to be a follower of Jesus? And this conversation led us to another one, where we got talking about stories. See, she's an avid reader and I am too, and we both love the way that a story can help you learn something about the world, about your life, about yourself. A well-told story can not only transform you, it can transport you to another time or place. And she gave me this sly smile and she said, I always wondered what it would be like to read a story of Jesus in the modern day. Like, what would happen when Jesus showed up at Starbucks? And I love the way her imagination was running as we had this conversation. Just the idea of asking, what would it look like for Jesus to be in Starbucks? That led us into a conversation about faith and the things that make it relevant today. The ways we share our faith with others in a way that makes sense or translatable, that's something we are curious about. And I wonder if even Jesus realized this when he was teaching people about God in his day. Throughout the Gospels, especially in the books of Luke and Mark, there are numerous sections where Jesus teaches purely through stories. The Bible refers to these stories as parables. And in the book of Matthew, the author describes it this way. Jesus spoke all of these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. Jesus, throughout the Bible, didn't always cut right to the chase in his teaching, maybe because he realized the power of a well-told story. It can help people be transformed. It could transport them in some way. Stories are really powerful. This week on the Daily Dose, we're inspired by a devotion written by an author named Bob Goff. It's called Live in Grace and Walk in Love. And he invites us to wonder in our own faith journeys, not only about the stories of Jesus that we read in the Bible, that Jesus tells and that we continue to tell from one generation to the next, but on the power of stories that we tell ourselves. I learned this pretty quickly from serving as a mentor. It's not easy for teenagers to tell themselves positive stories about themselves today. Maybe it's anxiety or fear, perfectionism. These harmful messages get in the way really quickly, no matter how confident our kids are, no matter what kind of family they're raised in. A kid might hear the message, you're not athletic, you don't have a musical bone in your body, you're not as smart as that person over there. And it's really hard to erase that statement from their minds. We've all had that happen. But what would it look like for you, for me, to take a statement that you thought defined you and to retell it as a story? When Jesus told stories, they were powerful things for people to listen to, sometimes because it made them reassess and realign. It changed them. And a new story can change you too. So today I invite you to think not about the story that other people are telling you, but about the story that God is telling through you. If it feels like a story that's filled with limits or something that's holding you back, remember that is not God's story. God's story is one of hope, it's one of love, it's one of grace, and it's got the power to transport you and to transform you. Thanks so much, Daily Dosers. We love that you tune in. We love it when you subscribe, and we really love it when you share this message with someone else. Have a good day.
What in the... Time out.
Did it not record?
No, it did, but see that light?
Yeah, it just changed at the end.
You said have a good day and then it changed?
No, right before I said it. You can check the timing. It was like shortly, it was at the end, something changed. I don't know how, but I caught it out of the corner of my eye.
Battery, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
Let's just do the last outro just because...
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go back a little bit to make sure that where I have kind of a break in my... Because it might not have happened right at the end.
I think it did, because
Okay.
I did look at it, and I looked down there, looked back up, and it was gone.
Okay.
But yeah, let's go back. All right, still rolling. Tell me when.
A little bit further. There we go. Okay. Still rolling?
Yeah.
A new story can change you too. So today, I invite you to think not about the story that other people are telling about you, but about the story that God is telling through you. If it feels like it's filled with limits or seems like it's holding you back, remember that is not God's story. God's story is one of hope, it's one of love, it's one of grace, and it's got the power to transport you and to transform you. Thanks so much, Daily Dosers. We love it when you share this with somebody else who might need a word of hope. We love it when you subscribe, and we love it when you tune in for the next Daily Dose. Have a good day.